What's up YouTube? Welcome to another tier list video. This time I'll be rating exclusive equipment based on their performance in both PvE and PvP. So in the maximum tier it's going to be only exclusive equipment which is good in both modes and is extremely good, of course. So since there's a lot less EE exclusive equipment compared to the total character pool, I felt like there's enough time for me to show you one by one how I put exclusive equipment in the tier list. First off, we have to start with God Killer 0. Her EE is incredible in PvE. It basically is in every top team except, I guess, light team. But she has been used even there with her EE. For PvP, it was so overpowered that they had to nerf it and limit it to only 8 debuffs per proc. The next EE, of course, Poo EE. She can both do extreme scores in Otherworldly Boss by reviving your main DPS Machine. In PvP, she can revive any DPS unit or even VO if you want to use it in any way. So there's no question about it, it's going over there. Let's see, Bombs E. It's sadly only good for Guild Lab, and even then, because of all the good teams, it's around A tier. Lidi E. I want to put it in Triple S, but sadly, for PvE, it's not really that great. Like, it can help, but it isn't game-breaking, so I guess SS is what it deserves. Viol CE, sadly, it's completely useless. Its main stat is good, HP for tank teams, but the actual effect can be overshadowed by using a crit damage main stat E, for example White. So it's completely in the dust. Ido, she's again, you want to put her in Triple S, but since she doesn't perform in the other mode, it's great for PvE, but it can't really do anything in PvP, so maybe even down to S tier. Like in PvP, there's 0% chance that your idol lives to turn 3, and even if she does, the debuff extend won't really do anything. White E, it's around the category of BAM E in the way it helps only for Guild Lab, but the main stat, crit damage, gives it the right to go up to, let's say, I guess it's Triple S tier, because in both Guild Lab and PvP, you want to use it for the main stat crit damage. So even though its actual effect is useless, its main stat is the strongest one. I believe it's the only crit damage main stat exclusive equipment. Soros, it has a decent effect, again for mainly PvE, a bit for PvP, but actually the character is so bad that she has never been used, except in, I guess, early game PvE, so I would put it around B tier. And Dorsey, her exclusive equipment sadly only works for a tank type PvP build, and I guess some early game PvE, so I would put it around A tier. Especially because it's debuff accuracy, which could still be used in both PvE and PvP, so that seems good. Horse, she can give you debuff immune, again only good for PvP this time. The main stat is however HP, which gives it a plus, but I'll still put it around A tier. Soroma, well, the effect is absolute garbage, because for one, you have to win a 60% chance to taunt, then win another percent chance to extend the taunt, and overall it's just useless. The only good redeeming quality is that it's, I think, HP main stat. I would put it around A tier again. Crusader Mira, it's again of the type of BMB. It's mainly good for PvE content, but the main stat as attack is pretty useful. Kaiser, absolute garbage. Like, the only cases it's used for is bosses, but you don't really need it. There's a lot better units like Yama and such, so Kaiser is never going to see play. Elaine, her E is quite great. The main stat is debuff accuracy, which is great for both modes. For PvP, I guess even for PvP it's decent. Yeah, I think it's actually worth around SS tier. Especially with the fact that it enables a comp, which if we get more support for, is going to be insane. But I really don't think there's going to be... Najo is going to make a decent enough unit to make Bleed viable. Ninetales. You might say, oh, it's only good for for PvE ST, but even for PvP, it's quite a great effect getting 6 burns. The only problem is that the actual unit behind the EE is useless, so I guess if you factor that in, it's going to be a lower tier, but having in mind its main stat attack, has a decent effect both PvE and PvP, I'm going to put it in triple S. Narin Ha, this is a really weird one, because basically what her E does is it gives you a shield, but only turn 1. So you don't want to use it in tank team because the commander already gives you a shield and it's useless to use this exclusive equipment. So the only good time to use it is in a DPS team, but the shield isn't really good enough to stop any other DPS. So you want to use it in a Narin-Ha comp, where your team is DPS and the enemy team is tanks. So that the shield can help you survive one extra hit on your DPS. Which again, I mean, it seems kind of useful, but it's trash, so be here. Fire Chicks E. For her, it's kind of weird because on first read for me it seems like it's useless. You always end up with 20 rage because of the cap. But a lot of people who have actually used it say that it's incredible. Also, I guess for PvP it could be a decent use. So I'd put it around SS tier. And this is only if we believe the people who are saying that it's crucial for the PvE aspect of her uses. So again, on this one, don't trust me completely. I'm not sure. I still haven't had the chance to make use of it. This one is again like Bamipio and Simira, mainly for PvE content. This one, for Ehua, her E is quite insane for PvP because of the extra absolute damage it does. And for PvE, it's again good, but again, sadly, Ehua is actually overshadowed by GBH and Ninetales. So as an EE, it's triple S tier, even though it's not really going to see much play. This EE is absolute piece of garbage. It only gives you extra speed, I believe. And again, speed is only great for PvP, for PvE only for Queen No Name, I guess. But you're never going to use him in Queen No Name, absolutely never. The main stat attack, I guess, can boost it to B tier, so we should put it here. This E, even though its effects are trash tier, I'm going to put it at SS, because the debuff resist aspect can be used in both PvE and PvP. It is situational, but I believe this is, I think, the only debuff resist exclusive equipment main stat, so I'm putting it there. This one is insane for both PvE and PvP. For example, wave rate, normal PvP. Sadly, with the Heavenly Warlord nerf, it's probably not going to get that much use, but it also has the benefit of being main stat HP. Hilda, her EE, some might disagree, and I think that most of you haven't really seen any Hilda play since the comp of GKZ Hilda was removed from Queen Elaine, because we got a better one. But I believe that the extra poison, the main stat HP, and as a whole, makes it triple S tier. I am actually trying to make a good comp with Hilda, but it might take some time. I guess it's actually more Hilda's passive that I'm thinking about, and the actual E is around double S. This one, the defense, again, that only helps in PvE content. In PvP it's almost nothing. It is main stat attack, which is a benefit, but I would put it around A tier. Machini's, her EE makes it so she taunts after she procs, which is absolute garbage, because you don't want her to taunt. I guess in PvP you could want her to taunt, so I'm going to put it at A tier as something that's only good in one of the two modes. Like, the only use I can see for her EE is in PvP comps, where you want her to instantly die and then tank all the damage for one turn. Which Mira's EE makes her get an extra life, which both for PvE and PvP is great. The main stat is the buff accuracy, which is also great, so I'm going to rank it at SS tier. Valkyrie, it has a main stat of HP. For both PvP and PvE, it's quite insane. However, for PvE, it's not going to really help you carry the main DPS. But for example, in modes like story mode, another like trial tower and such, it's actually quite insane. For Guild Lab, not that great, nobody's going to use it. But for other PvE type of content, it's definitely a must. Sujin, again, was the EE nerfed? No, it was the passive. So the EE is actually triple S tier. Why is that, you might ask? Well, deflection stat isn't really the worst. Like, there are situations where it's not useful, but the actual effect is quite insane. It can be used for both all types of PvE as well as PvP. Uruk, again, some of you might disagree with this, but the passive lock in some modes of PvE, like Trial Tower and such, is quite great. So, as well as PvP, of course, but actually Uruk is sadly, like, he has had some use thanks to Hacker, but it's quite niche. And this EE, I believe, was, I think the effect was decent, but only for PvP. So I'm going to place it around here. I don't really remember it exactly, so sorry if I'm wrong about this. And this is my ending tier list. Leave a comment down below if you like this style of video more. I really doubt I'm going to do the same style for the all character ones, but for a shorter list like the E one, I can attempt to do it. Well, hope you enjoyed, and see ya.